What's up, family? It's your girl, Melissa D, back for... look, you know what? I got my hype man on my left, and I'm ready to do this, y'all. It's your girl, Melissa D. I am so excited. Y'all know that I'm always ready to kick it with y'all here every Saturday on the Activation Hour. I'm joined with our political correspondent, Justin Kernan. Welcome back, JK.
Thank you very much.
Also known as JK Speaks on Instagram. He has been out in the community, and if you're following him, he's been dropping some really great tips. He always does his advocacy tips on Tuesdays, and so because he's like my right-hand man when it comes to everything and being involved in government, politics, and just being an advocate in the community, this is a prime time to do it. It's the top of the year. A lot of things going on in legislation and government, locally and nationally, and it's our job to keep you informed so that even as believers, we understand how we can make an impact in all areas and even especially in our community. Right. So Justin and I've kind of been messaging like, man, what are the hot topics? What's going on? I mean, it's crazy. I know I'm talking about like hot topics in government, but this has been like some big stuff, man, from ever since last time we saw one another.
Right.
We've had a government shutdown.
Right. Yeah. That happened.
That happened. We've had a State of the Union.
That happened too.
And a lot of other stuff in between. Yeah. So what's on your mind today?
That's just the national stuff. That's
not
even including the local stuff that's going on in a lot of communities across the country.
You're right.
A lot of state legislatures, including the one here in Georgia, is in session right now. So they're promulgating the rules that we are going to have to follow, one day if they pass. So it's a lot of going on. So it's a lot of chances for you to activate your advocacy, as well. So, I guess we can, just chat about some of the
man. So what you have first on the agenda today?
I think we should talk about something that I know I've gotten some phone calls about.
Okay.
And I know you've seen it all over social media, and that's the government shutdown.
Oh man,
and what's going on with that, and so.
So what in the world is a shutdown anyway? Like people probably didn't even realize how we were impacted by that.
That's when it closes. Shut it down. But no, the government shutdown happens when Congress and the President of the United States cannot agree on an appropriation bill to keep the government funded. All of that stuff takes money. All of these programs total of about 60 hours.
Yeah.
But it's so now the government's open for business. However, it's scheduled to be possibly shut down again. The bill that they came up with only carries the funding out until February 8th. And so at that time, it's subject to shut down again unless they can agree on certain things.
February 8th, this is the coming week, so we need to really be paying attention to what's going on and how we're impacted by it.
Absolutely. So I would urge everybody, if you're planning on going to any national parks, you might want to wait.
Why?
National parks are impacted by it. National parks, national zoos. Then you have other things like the CDC. They don't do disease monitoring during that time. So there's a lot of things. What's not affected is the post office. Your mail will still run. The IRS might receive some type of slowdown because of this. I know a lot of folks got those W-2s.
I was going to say, don't y'all call the IRS fussing about your tax check. I want my money. Don't y'all call up there acting a fool about your tax refund.
You might experience some slowdowns in that, but then you have essential employees such as air traffic controllers. They won't be impacted at all. You don't want to really mess with that. You have to pay them too.
Exactly.
You don't need planes falling out the sky. But then you have other things like military. They are essential employees, but may not get paid during shutdown periods, but are still required to do all of the duties and follow every single order that they are giving. And Congress doesn't lose money during the shutdown either, because of course they build their pay into those bills as well. And so there's a lot of things that can be impacted by the shutdown, but federal employees, so during the last shutdown in 2013, there were about 850,000 federal employees that were furloughed each day of that shutdown.
Wow.
That shutdown lasted for 13 days, I believe.
It was, I remember that.
And so that shut down 850 people per day that were furloughed. So the thing to also keep in mind is they're not getting paid when the government is shut down. However, once it reopens, the bill includes back pay for them. So they get their money. It's just not on the front end. But, I know
So it's almost like you have to kind of make provisions, really.
Georgia Power don't care. They want their money on that date.
But so that's what I'm saying. You better start setting something aside now if you're a federal employee. And I love how that kind of bridges to what we're going to talk about later on with our special guest, Allison, about lending and borrowing and how to deal with money. But I want to just quickly recap so people catch this. So the things that were affected or will be affected: parks and recreation.
Federal parks.
Sorry. Okay. Federal parks. Maybe a little bit of a slowdown with the IRS, which the timing of this is crazy. The fact that I know y'all are out trying to file taxes right now. And that's already a slow process.
Right.
And military, possibly military pay.
Military pay, but not military actions. They still go to work. They still carry out their duties. They just don't get paid during the duration of the shutdown.
Yeah.
And so right now we're not under a shutdown, so everything's running as usual. And during the last shutdown we had, it was a 3-day shutdown. Only one was during the week. The other was during the weekends.
True.
So people that have like typical office jobs with the government, it didn't impact them as much because of the fact that most of the stuff was over the weekend. But there's a lot of things that got caught up in a lot of that. So there's negotiations that have to go on every single piece of legislation that happens. And so there's a lot of different things. It depends on your political ideology and who you believe is responsible for what's going on. But there was a group of legislators that felt that there should be more money going towards defense spending.
Okay.
And then and that was Republicans felt.
So they just can't agree what to spend the money on.
Because the money's there, and it's like figuring out, hey, so what do we do with it? Who we gonna spend it on? And then there's other things that get caught up in it because of the fact that there's programs like DACA, the Deferred
Thank you.
Action.
Hopefully we'll get to that today. Yeah.
We don't get to it. We're not going
to
to
get to it. You know. But let's be honest, it's a big topic for a lot of people.
It's a huge topic.
Yeah.
It's a huge topic. But that's a whole show. And I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm not the person for that show.
No.
I can find you somebody.
No. But we are gonna address that here. Yeah. But not today. But we just want to talk about the things that are affected on the bigger scene.
Yeah. So that's a part of this whole conversation. And so what to do with these children that were that came to this country, and this is what they know. This is the life that they lived, and this is what they're familiar with. And so that it's very political. It's a very politically polarizing conversation, and that got caught up in a lot of this stuff. So you got government spending, you got DACA, you got certain children's health care programs and other entitlement programs that people can't figure out how to fund because you have conservatives on one end that want to, look at spending money in more conservative fashions, and then you have other people that think that these entitlement programs are necessary.
So we just can't agree.
Well, I think it's okay to have different ideologies. Yeah. You don't want a monolithic government. You want people to come from different point of views and different perspectives, but you want people to be able to come to a consensus and agree on things that are of importance. Unfortunately, this situation and others, there's an old statement that say when elephants fight, or in this case, it's when elephants and donkeys fight. The mascots of the two parties, the ants, get trampled. And so there's a lot of ants that are being trampled right now because of the type of shutdown.
Yeah.
Or the potential for the shutdown.
What can we do, just as your everyday citizen, one, to prepare for the things that are occurring on the federal level, and then two, like just what do we need to know? How do we get more information about this? Save your money.
And really, Allison's talking about some of that later.
Save.
But outside of that, what you can do as a citizen is you have right to exercise your voice. And a lot of times we complain. A lot of times we have a lot of conversations in silos. And so we take to our social media and talk about what's going on, but we never have that conversation with people that can make a difference or an impact. And we assume that they understand our perspective and they know what we're talking about. And I'm here to let you know. I'm looking at this camera. I'm here to let you know that you cannot assume that your elected officials know your perspective and your point of view. Somebody's in their ear at all times, so it should be you, because of the fact that they're listening to the people that are talking to them. So if you haven't spoken to them, they don't know what's important to you. So it's up to you to inform people of what's important to you, your family, your community, the people that have similar interests to you. You can't hold the people accountable for things that you've never told them.
Yeah.
That's the whole conversation about relationships too. But
we're touching on some good stuff.
But you can't hold them accountable. So you have to let them know. You can let your Congress people know what's going on by there's a lot of different ways. You can write letters, you can make phone calls, you can send emails, and you can have these conversations on social media. But when you try to have these conversations on social media, you have to make sure that you actually talk to your congressman. You have to actually tag them.
Right.
Don't just say Congressman such and such needs to Tag the person in there. Tell them where
You have
you're
to
coming
engage
from.
effectively to get results.
Exactly. And then letters. There's a lot of different types of letters that you can send. A lot of people send these form letters in which all they have to do is type in or handwrite their name.
Where can they go
and
to do
switch.
that?
It depends. A lot of different organizations will send that out. So, for instance, if you have an advocacy group that's advocating for a particular purpose, they might
Okay.
send out a letter and say, "Hey, all you have to do is sub in your name for." It'll say something like, you know.
So they'll have like a template, and then
it's
you
a
just kind
template.
of put your
Your
name on it.
here.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of those, and a lot.
Tell me why.
Because of the fact that you have 500 people that are saying the exact same thing, and so you read one, you read all of them. What if you had 500 people telling their own stories and giving it to you from their different perspectives?
good.
So you can use the template to provide the information, but say why it's important to you, because that's the
Make
other
it
important
personal.
thing. Make it personal. A lot of what I do professionally is make personal or emotional appeals, or tell people why it's important. Because if you're not telling people why it's important to you and make it real for them so that they can understand, I'm not going to say it's pointless, but I think it goes further when you can,
As
do
in
that.
anything you share, we always like to hear a story, a personal anecdote that resonates
Right.
and appeals to people really. And I think that's the authentic part of being an advocate. There
Absolutely.
has to be a why other than just making it a platform or
When was
whatever.
the last time you got a handwritten letter? A whole handwritten letter, not from your grandma.
You know what? To be honest with you, I got one last week, but that's only because that's what I teach my students to do.
But you remember that what's in that handwritten letter,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I was taught to do that. And so that's important to me. Even thank you cards. I get blank ones and write inside.
Your grandma in Alabama did a good
My
job.
grandma in Alabama did a good job. Shout out,
know,
Grandma.
But handwritten notes go far too.
Yeah.
And so when you're writing these things, make it personal. Handwriting. I don't tend to handwrite stuff because
So you do recommend handwriting?
I look like I write with the wrong hand. My handwriting is terrible. But I do recommend handwritten letters.
Okay.
Because that adds to
That's a
that
good tip.
level of personalization to it, instead of typing it or something. Handwrite that letter. But also calling your congressman. Don't only call their office in D.C. Which you can find all this information is public. It's on
Tell them
their
where.
websites. Google.
Google.
I don't have to tell you everything. You
No,
can look it
I'll
up
do you
or
one
do your
better
research,
because
but
Justin
no,
and
go to-
I do one better for them.
Okay.
I'm not gonna leave them hanging like that.
I wouldn't go into. I would just.
But no, seriously, because you always give us good tips. I always write down the websites that you share and the information. So this is what I'm going to do for you guys. In order to stay connected to our activating advocacy tips from Justin Kernan, JK Speaks, make sure you sign up on our email list because I send out this information in blast, and he also puts them on his Instagram. So please go to subscribe to our email list, melissadwhite.info, and follow JK Speaks on Instagram so you can stay connected with that information. You have any final tip for us for today to activate our advocacy?
Outside of writing those letters, and you can do that by going to you can go to the congressional websites and find out all of that. You can also go to votesmart.org. Organization
That's one
like
you've
that,
told
because
us
you have
about.
to find out who these people are that represent
Yeah.
you. But you can just Google your congressman and their name, or your senator and their name, and it pops up, and call their office. And each congressman also has a district office in the district that they represent. Each
Okay.
senator has multiple senatorial district or home offices in the states that they represent. And so not only call DC, but also call their offices here, or even set up appointments and go.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of times we do our legislators a disservice by assuming that they know what's important.
They
to
don't
us,
always know.
and they don't
And then
know
we
what's
hold them accountable for something that they're not
that
fully
they
even aware
didn't-
of.
that they,
Totally
you
unfair.
didn't tell them. And
That's
so,
so
if
true.
I'll leave you with, how do they know if you haven't told them?
That's your tip for today.
How
You
do you-
activate it by tell them what they need to know so
Tell
they
them
can
what
work
they
on your
need to know.
behalf. That's real good, JK. Appreciate it, man. So listen, this is a perfect segue because our featured guest for today, Allison Feliciano, is a senatorial candidate, but she is such a well-rounded woman of God. I love her tremendously. She's even a fan of the show, y'all. So, I'm excited to interview her and talk to her. She's also my radio fam. She is one half of Alice Shane, where she has a show here on 108 Praise Radio as well. But we want to really get to know who she is as a credit and debt coach. And so she's going to talk to us. You talked about some savings. Like, hey, look, we got some government stuff going on. You need to kind of get your money in order because you don't know what's going to happen, and you need to be prepared. But then there's also the side of the government that she's going to speak to as well, as why she is activating her voice by being a candidate for the Senate. So we're going to take a quick break and come right back so you can meet Allison Feliciano family. So I'm your girl, Melissa D. Stay tuned right here on 108 Praise Radio, where we're always voicing the gospel.
up so many times in my life and said no, never again. You came down and died for me, and then you washed away all of my sins. I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it again. I said, can you forgive me if Father, you did it again? You did it again, 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 you did it again. I said, now Father, will you forgive me? You did it again. Okay. You did it again, again, did it again.
I did it, 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 I did it again. Said I was done with it, but all the fun with it, home, and I went with it in. Tried to do right, but wrong was there though. Feel like a slave, Moses taught the Pharaoh. My shoes is too big for straight and narrow. Elevator open, but I take the stairs though. I think I'm done, but then I can't quit. I keep on falling for that same tree. Okay, but now I can see that the strength ain't in me. I give it to you, then I'm about to take a knee, and I know it's the blood, and it's not about me. But so I always boy. Okay, I ask for forgiveness, it's just like a trend. I know my existence is greater than sin, but the fight is within, and I did it again.
Messed up so many times in my life and said no, never again. You came down and died for me, and then you washed away all of my sins. I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it again. I said, can you forgive me if Father, you did it again? You did it again, 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 you did it again. I said, now Father, will you forgive me? You did it again. You did it again, again, did it again.
I be doing good, but then there was something that happened that caused me to fall back. I told you my last loud pack, last new part, last six pack. I feel like Paul, the things that I don't want to do, I done did it again. The thing that I truly desire to please the Messiah, feel I never win. Ain't trying to take advantage of your grace. So what is the difference from having to struggle and those that just fall out of place? The difference is your heart and he see it. I lock hands with God, screaming mercy cause I need it. Salvation don't mean that you won't ever struggle or give in to sin. It means that you trust and believe him and constantly seek him till you meet your end. Yeah, you gon' win some, you gon' lose some, but the battle is here. So walk in that comfort that there is no more condemnation for those that are his. We making promises we cannot maintain, cause in our flesh it does not dwell a good thing. Okay, I ask for forgiveness, it seems like a trend. Christ's blood is so perfect, he told me I'm worth it. So guess what he did? He done did it again.
Messed up so many times in my life and said no, never again. You came down and died for me, and then you washed away all of my sins. I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it again. I said, can you forgive me if Father, you did it again? You did it again, 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 you did it again. I said, now Father, will you forgive me? You did it again. You did it again, again, did it again,
She has been published in 4 books and will have several personal projects coming out soon. Although she is passionate about educating people in areas of debt and credit, above all, her calling is to help people to dream big. A native New Yorker since moving. Yeah, I know. I was waiting for them to figure that out. I got 2 New Yorkers. This Alabama girl is flanked by 2 New Yorkers. I'm in good company, though. I'm in good company. So Allison also has been able to speak to various groups in this area, but has a passion to bring her message to the body of Christ. So that means she's the epitome of, again, ministry in the marketplace, even herself as a kingdom entrepreneur. Allison's straight from the heart, high energy, very passionate, and motivates and engage all audiences. Allison's also full of charisma, warmth, and a sense of humor, which I love, especially if you've watched her show. She's also, like I said, she has now officially announced her candidacy for Senate District 31 here in Georgia. Again, she is my radio family, my radio sister here on 108 Praise Radio as the co-host of the Alice Shane Show, and her show co-host with her fiance Shane Harmon. Shane and Allison, hey Shane. Shane and Allison are getting married soon, and she also sits on the board of various nonprofits that she is passionate about. You're one busy lady. Hey, Allison.
Activation hour. I'm a fan. So
I love her so. Like, she is she doesn't know, like, she's been in this radio thing for a while, longer than me. And so, you know, when we came on board in May, just the love you poured out and how well you received us. And you're like, if you need anything, and like genuinely mean it, like, you know, and I love and appreciate you for the prayers and encouragement. She even calls in and talks to me when I'm on the air. I'm like, hey, yeah, so thank you.
I just love all the different topics, and which is what, like, our show is about, you know, really dreaming and believing in every area of your life.
Yes.
So you can talk about politics, business,
Everything.
fashion, I love it.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm glad you said that, because oftentimes as Christians and as kingdom-minded people, we like limit ourselves. And let's be honest, we don't live in the church, in the
All the
building
time,
of the church
24/7.
7 days a week. We have, there's a totality to how God made us. So all of these things really do matter to us, because there's that humanity and divinity. We're human, living a divine life in this human being. So, you know, I'm so glad you're so well-rounded, and you're just real.
I love it.
You're
Listen,
just real.
That's that New York.
That's
Yeah,
what it is. That's
Best
exactly
Style. I
what
got
it
Best
is.
Style over here, and you know
We got
what you
Brooklyn and the Bronx right
Harlem.
here.
Yeah, there you go.
Bronx, too.
Awesome.
You know what?
You see,
I'm done. I'm out.
Shut up. Where?
I was about to ask that, but I think we'll talk about that
Oh,
after the
that's
show.
funny. I love it. Look, I'm joined by two amazing people, and so JK and I just want to have a conversation with Allison, honestly. And although the topic is lending, borrowing, and blessings, I love, and JK didn't even know like we were going to get into this, how he slid in that whole thing about saving.
Yep.
And
I was like,
yes, I was like, perfect segue. Yes. And this is actually a big topic. This is so appropriate. I didn't even think about it when we scheduled you. It is tax season. And I bet there are some people right now who are listening. Who, okay, you get your W-2, you file a tax refund, and you get your little check every year. And every year you sitting there looking like, where did my refund go?
You have a
because it's
person
often
here
spent
wondering.
before.
I'm just,
It's,
I mean, I've been there.
because it's often spent even before they get the money.
Ooh, talk about
And
that.
you know, I mean, in our practice, we talk about practical principles and kingdom principles. And so, you know, we bring people through the credit, debt, budgeting,
Okay.
taxation, insurance, investments, you know, retirement, long-term care, big dream planning.
The whole wheelhouse.
The whole wheelhouse. It's real money answers, okay? But then I'm also going to bring kingdom on it because, you know, people always tell me, well, Allison, if I made more, I would save more. And I go, stop lying.
That's not true.
It's not true.
I
Or
thought that.
I've been there.
Yes, thought
if
that
I
too.
made more, I would give. That's not true either.
Yeah.
It's not, because again, you know, God's gonna what He entrusts you now, this much, will then prove to how much more He can trust you with. So if you have a problem giving now, so if you make $500 a week and you have a problem giving that $50, and people will choose to spend their money on what they choose to spend their money on.
My mama said
And-
people do what they want to do.
You know, so like, you know, people will tell me, or the myths that we speak to ourselves. Oh, Melissa, it was on sale. And
yeah.
listen, I'm Kohl's clearance queen.
Cute.
I'm Kohl's
Ouch.
clearance queen. However, I shop with intention. So I actually just don't like to go shopping just to go shopping.
Yeah.
So like if I need a red blouse for a certain event, that's what I'm going to find.
Yeah.
And so even if I see something that's full price and not on sale and I like it, I leave it there for over 24 hours.
Uh-huh.
And I walk away from it.
I've
And
learned
if it's
that.
something that I still really want, then I have to look in that line item budget for stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because you have to budget for your hair,
Yeah.
your nails, your feet. So, you know, or people say, or they give it to themselves, well, I deserve it. I work hard. Well, okay, well, do you deserve that new pair of shoes or that new watch or that new whatever it is?
I know you're rewarding
And
yourself like every paycheck,
men
every
and
check.
women are, I don't, you know, because men shop too. Do you deserve it? Maybe.
A little bit.
Maybe, but is that purchase worth you not having an emergency fund? Is that purchase worth? So during like this, thankfully it was only a 3-day shutdown, right? Only one full business day. But what would have happened if it was the 13 days again? And like you said, Georgia Power, the water company, they're not really trying to hear it because they're trying to figure out their own stuff too, you know? And so So now that it is tax time, and I always tell people, invest in yourself. Right? So people tend to, like, from October to December, say, well, Allison, I'll call you in January, because, and so they put their heads in the sand, or they put on their blinders, because it's holiday time.
Yeah.
And, well, but you know, Allison, if I don't show up to my family's house for gifts, they're going to talk about me, and I sit there with all the love in the world. They talking about you anyway.
Woo!
And so,
Boom. I think she just hit somebody in the face with that. I'm just saying.
and so I tell people, give yourself the gift of better credit this Christmas, so that next Christmas you can host Christmas in your new home.
There you go.
Or, you know, in your, or you might be in your home, but now you've paid down debt, or you've been able to do a real debt consolidation loan, and not debt settlement, because that's a scam. Okay, but you know, but give yourself the gift, and give your family the gift to say, listen, I thought enough about leaving the legacy that I really want to leave.
Yes.
So this year, y'all not getting some Walmart gifts or whatever, or I'm not going to put myself in more debt this year.
That's
so
such a
if
big
you
thing.
already
It
don't know
is.
that I love you, and I really just want to break bread
No
with
gift's
you
gonna change
and
that.
celebrate the reason that we're here is because Christ was born, then listen, I could love you from a distance, but I'll be working on me. And I believe, especially as kingdom people, we should be the example.
Yeah.
You know, like our whole life. So we just can't look holy and, you know, biblical and without Bible and praise
no,
God and I'm blessed and highly
Holiness is a
favored,
lifestyle in
but
every
I have
area,
a
yeah.
540 credit score, and you know I'm paying double-digit interest rates for my car, and so because my car note's so high, I can barely afford to maintain it. So on the outside, I got it cleaned at the car wash, but on the inside, all the dash lights are on because I can't afford the oil change or this or that. That makes no sense to me. You know, when in 2015, when my late husband passed away, and it was sudden.
Yeah.
We had 2 cars. And I said, okay, I no longer want to be concerned about the oil and the tires, and 'cause that wasn't in my wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
So it made more financial sense for me to take those 2 cars and go get one brand new one. And then I negotiated 10 free oil changes, all this kind of stuff. So I know, boom,
You have the
I go
maintenance,
in,
yeah.
right. And then during that time, while I was grieving and trying, and then in a season of rest, and I educated myself a bit more on, you know, what happens when, or if I need this, or I found really trustworthy mechanics or things like that. So, you know, and so I didn't care that I traded in my, you know, my Cadillac SUV and my van, and I got a very practical Chevy Cruze. It was practical for me and my children. I don't really care what you think about what kind of car I drive, because at least I know it's covered, it's right, it's cost effective on gas and everything else.
You are touching on what I keep hearing. The recurring theme I hear in my head is a mindset. Everything that you've touched on, which is so rich, it's a mindset.
Absolutely.
So
I always say building wealth, having great credit, living debt free has zero to do with money. It has 1,000% to do with how you think and feel about it. It's the same way about losing weight, right?
Yeah.
Well, when you decide that you want to get healthier and lose weight, well, then you decide to stop going to McDonald's or Burger King. You decide to stop eating 4,000 calories a day when you really shouldn't, and you decide to start being active. I tell people, listen, when I'm on, you know, I'm conscious about what I'm eating, then I don't go to Costco on Saturday at 12 noon. Because
they got
You gotta
all the
taste it.
samples, right?
You gotta
you're gonna leave
taste
Costco full.
That's not going to work with my eating plan. So how my eating plan is set up is just how your money accounts are set
That's
up.
so true.
Yes.
And so when you begin to change, if
I've
I can
learned
help
that.
you here, everything else easy, easy. When people say, "Well, Allison, you know, like I just have enough money to pay bills with," I go, "That's not true. Let me see 90 days of your checking account, where your debit card. Oh, you go to Starbucks every day.
Oh, that
and
debit
you
card.
spend
Oh,
$7
yes.
or $8 a day. That's just for your coffee in the morning. And then when I'm talking about, then you go out to eat lunch. And then, what's this? That went to Kohl's, Target, da-da-da. If I really broke down everything, I could show you how you can save money
Reallocate.
and get out of debt at the same time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to you.
I know. I think. Look, if y'all better start calling up here and
Y'all
talking to
should, because this
Allison.
is some good
Seriously, call if you have questions about your financial situation or debt. I'm taking calls right now for our
the number,
Allison. The number is 770-988-6461. Again, that's 770-988-6461, because we want to live free. We say that, but we'll only allow that in one particular area. You touched on something, especially again from a kingdom perspective. Yes, we are called to subdue the land. And yes, we want to live abundant. And then we say, well, I'm free, but free indeed means to live without all of these hindrances in your life. And you touched on something else. You can have all the material things in the world, but if you're not in a position to care for and keep them, then you don't really have them. Like, that was real. Driving a car, you can't even put the premium gas in there. How you gonna have a luxury car putting regular gas in that?
To get you to the next day.
Right.
That's a broken mentality,
And it's a
and we have
poverty
to.
mindset.
It's a poverty mindset. There you go, mindset.
It
Now-
is that.
I was just gonna say a lot of us weren't taught these things because we came from households or families in which either they were living paycheck to paycheck themselves, and so like changing your mindset is a huge part of it. But you don't know what you don't know, and so if you're not willing to do the research or talk to someone like yourself about it, it's very easy to stay in that mindset, because that's what's been passed down like generation to generation.
Right, and see, and we when we speak to our clients or to the audiences that we speak to, we again go through the whole thing: credit, debt, budgeting, taxation. But then, see, some people just are so set in living for the now. But we need to set short-term goals and long-term goals, like you do for your career, right? So then we have to start thinking about planning for our families. God forbid an untimely death. And I love how my pastor says it should be a come up for a family.
It's true,
we have to
though.
start to invest in income protection and life insurance, but also thinking how the wealthy think. There's rules of money.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were raised, because like you said, most of us aren't taught around the kitchen table about money, credit, and debt, except for the lack of, right?
I ain't got it.
Right.
That's your conversation about money.
Or maybe if you're lucky, to even talk about checking and savings.
Maybe, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're trying to get a checking and savings
That's
account.
it.
Now, just to make the numbers easy, what you're getting right now is actually less than 1% in your savings account. But let's just make it 1%. There's a rule of money called the rule of 72. And if you take 72 and divide the interest rate that you're getting in whatever tool that you're using to save money or grow money in, that will be the amount of years it will take your money to double. So if you're getting 1%, that will take you 72 years to double. That doesn't make sense.
I don't think I have. I don't have that much
And
time.
the wealthy have been using tools for years that it's not like they forgot to tell us about it. Okay, it's there, but we have to open up our minds to listen and to decide that our family and the legacy that we want to leave is worth it.
Yeah.
How would it feel to you to not have to worry about can I fill up my car?
Yeah. That's real freedom.
But also, looking at, don't get pigeon-toed, because if you had that 6 months of a fund that's for a rainy day, then you could have your deductibles on your car insurance to be $1,000 instead of $500 or $250, and you'll save money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Pay your car insurance 6 months in advance. You'll save money. But because we're just so used to living now, listen. If you want to create more means, let's do it. Let's sit down and see what you really love to do. Many of us have jobs out of necessity. I get it. But then open up your mind, and instead of rushing home, no disrespect, because a very good friend of mine is on Empire, but to rush home to watch Empire or Scandal or whatever your favorite show is, then have a side hustle.
Right. Yeah.
So that you can make that extra money until it begins to balance out, and then you have decisions.
Let's talk about that. Many people have asked me, especially recently, just because of the shift I'm in personally, of going from whatever your job is. There's nothing wrong with the job, and people will argue, well, everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. I can argue that with some word, whatever. We can have that debate. But the reality is we are, meant and called to have more than one stream of income.
Correct. I teach
However,
7 streams. but-
Yes, and that's biblical in terms of 7 or 8 streams of income. So, and people are like, how in the world did you get to this place of entrepreneurship? Because I worked for a year and a half on, like you said, I was in hotel rooms and airports. I didn't watch a whole lot of TV. I worked on a thing. So what's your advice to help somebody get to that place, to build that bridge to creating more streams of income or entrepreneurship if that's what they desire?
Well, and so once we look at your budget, right, to see what you currently bring in versus what you have going out versus what you should be doing, so then that'll show you your shortfall. Then let's have a conversation of what's already in your hands. Use what's in your hands. So, like me, if I wanted to, I could have a side catering business because all of my friends and family love how much I love to cook and all the things I do cook. And so I could make meals and sell them. I could. If you love to bake and you're really good at it, and you're already baking cakes
Or
and
doing it
bringing it to
anyway.
your job,
Yeah, that's good.
no more for free now. I'm
You don't have to pay me.
Yeah.
if people love your sense of style and you love thrifting, then go ahead and start now this will take work because even the work that you put into the thrifting and that's time too, and you have to have an eye for it, right? And a great one.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But then time for you to put them on hangers and clean.
It's
them.
all a display,
Right.
but it's the
And so
business of it.
When people say, "Well, why should I pay you $20 when you probably got that for $3?" Then that's not your client.
Bingo.
Because you will not only pay me for what I do, but what I know.
Right.
Okay, so then let's find what you're passionate about. Or if you don't know, then let's explore. If you think something looks interesting, then let's talk to people that currently do it and start where you are. Start what you have.
Start where
now,
you are.
and there's plenty of money in your own house right now. So let's clean out those closets, the garages, the attics, stuff. What I learned a long time ago is when the poor get paid, they buy stuff. Hence the growth of the Dollar Tree. I'm not hating on Dollar Tree. I like Dollar Store.
But tell the
over
truth,
the
though.
last 20, 25
And you see a
years, right?
proliferation in certain
In
communities.
certain areas,
Yeah.
you're right.
Then, when the middle class get paid, they just buy bigger stuff. But when the wealthy get paid, they buy things that pay them back. And that's where so let's clean out our garages, have a garage sale, use the Facebook Marketplace, whatever. Sell this stuff. Take that money. Don't waste it on steak dinner or movies or something. And invest it back in yourself. Listen, I can show you how to make power meals for you and your family
Yes.
less than $2 per serving. And so all that money that you waste eating out, and I'm not saying we go out to eat,
Yeah.
but all the time, no.
It's about managing it. And
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
to one of the points you made earlier, I was embarrassed when I looked at my bank account. It has one of those parts on the website that shows you how you're spending your money.
Like the money map type thing, yeah.
and it
yeah.
was so much of my money was being spent on eating out. And I was like, well, that has to be include groceries too. It's like, no, that's just your restaurant purchases. And it was a lot of money. And I'm looking at, why is all this money flying out? Well, because you're spending
Because it
all
adds
this
up.
money. Yeah,
$10
quickly.
a year.
It does add up.
So fast.
I had a client, they were a family of 5. They spent eating out per month over $2,000.
Whoa.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I'm not there, but I can see it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had
Whoa.
to spend time with just the parents alone to get them to change their mindset, to teach them, to get some tools that they can make easy, quick, real food meals.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, even if you're going through a drive-through, that's not good
It's
food.
not.
It's
It's
not.
not.
It's
No nutritional
And I
value.
think so. That's another mindset thing because you're talking about building your financial. Well, it's cheap to eat poorly.
Yeah.
So that's another way to invest in yourself is by investing, like you said,
good
in
food.
real
Oh, that's
food.
good.
I
That's
mean,
good.
I could if the 3 of us right now went to one of those drive-throughs, whichever one, it would be easily $25.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know how much food I could show you how to make for $25? And we'd have several meals at home.
It's so funny, especially because like meal prepping is such a big thing. My
It
family
is,
just
yeah.
called it leftovers. Like
You're
when I was growing up, like that's what we did. My mother cooked like
Yeah.
2 times a week, and it would be
Yeah.
like all these different
And
meals.
you
and
ate off
your
of it, and
leftovers.
you were fine as a
There are times
family.
I get the family size of chicken, right? And I'll, of course, you have to clean it now.
Yeah.
But
Better clean
and
it.
season
Yeah.
it, and I'll make it a bunch at once, and then I could take them and repurpose them into different meals.
Yes.
Yep.
Chop some
Mhm.
and
Yep.
make a chicken and black bean wrap or
Yeah.
things like that. I mean, you can make so many things. I just made a huge bowl of chili the other day, and we're just and
Did you
I'm
bring
making
some with you,
rice.
or-
I mean,
Is
like
it
it's lunchtime.
It's just
But
taking
yeah,
all those steps.
repurposing it.
And people do think it's expensive to eat well in this country, and
It's
that's not true.
no.
It's not
It's
true.
just about taking time, and you mentioned that
Mm-hmm.
in a different point when you were mentioning about shifting your mindset to an entrepreneur or working on multiple streams
Mm-hmm.
of income. All of that stuff takes time, and it's about where you want to spend your time. Do you want to spend your time? I know I waste a lot of time, and I'm trying to get better at it. But do you want to waste your time watching TV or just scrolling on social media,
You have to
or
be
do
intentional.
you want to take time to build things or to
Right.
cook better food and save
Mm-hmm.
money and things like
and,
that?
and I'm not poo-pooing on social media because there's a lot of like
Yeah.
I get a lot of great recipes off of Pinterest, but I'm intentional about the time
Exactly.
that I like. I intentionally when my sister's doing something on and to go like it, to share, to support
Yes,
it.
yes,
But
absolutely.
it's intentional. Not I'm not. And listen, there are times where I'll stop and I'll see a video it's funny, and then I have to keep on moving because if not,
You go
can
down
spend
that
hours.
rabbit hole, right?
You know what? You know what? This speaks to me personally because I had to really kind of call myself out on that on the social media thing of not. And it's like I would say, well, okay, I have several different businesses that all are kind of wrapped into social media and things that I do, and I'm like, but yeah, are you really doing something specifically for that purpose at that time, or are you just like aimlessly scrolling? And I started kind of like catching myself. And if you, let's be honest, all of the things we're talking about are areas of waste.
Right.
And I think, like, if we identify the areas of waste in our lives, whether it be wasted time, wasted money, wasted, whatever we're doing on social media, whatever, identify waste and now reuse that to actually invest, whether that be in taking that time on social media, not spending that time with family or on your business or whatever, whether it be meal prep, like that's a good way to spend time with your family. Like, okay, let's make this a family affair. You always complain. I know people like that. I don't have time for my family. By the time I get home, I'm tired. I can't do this. Well, you could have cooked a meal with the husband, the kids, and whoever else, and now you had a good meal and quality
That's how we
time.
grew up. I learned how to cook by
Yeah.
accident. I learned how to cook
Me
because
too.
we were required to be in the kitchen at the same time.
I know.
And
Yeah,
hand me that
that's
grease
so.
pan.
It was family
But these
time.
things have
Oh wow,
taken
you're right.
Our children,
that's true.
and what do you, even like on a Sunday afternoon, if you're doing the meal prep, okay, and if you wanted to catch up on your shows, maybe most of the houses that I've seen, you can have a TV or access to see the TV, so your family could be in there, and then you could DVR or watch
Yeah.
the shows that you missed because you were working on your side hustle during the week. It's just, and it's balance, it's life balance, and it takes being intentional to create that. Listen, like you said, I'm a busy woman, and so I have to balance out my businesses with ministry, with my campaign, and then with my children, with Shane, with friends. I don't think that you should have. Listen, you do have to focus on if you want to leave that cubicle and get into a full-time business eventually, then you might have to miss some barbecues. You might have to miss
Yeah,
some
and the people who
outings.
love you will understand.
Right. But then there are times where you have to be intentional to say, listen, let's set a date right now for March on a Saturday where we go out for a brunch and we just catch up. Because if it's a real friendship, she'll understand. I can't see you to really, really talk face to face until March, but I'll be following you. I'll be doing this. And if it's a real relationship and we respect each other's visions and hustle, cool. March, whatever the date is,
Absolutely.
and that's what it would be.
That's I think when we respect those things about one another is having someone who keeps you accountable too. For me, like I may not see my friends all the time. I don't see them all the time because they know He knows that. Like I miss a lot of things, but on the flip side, they see what I'm building over here, and so you become intentional. But you also, those are people who hold you accountable too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how are things going? What do you need? Are you okay? Are you keeping to your goals? So I think it creates some balance in all areas. I want to touch on one quick thing because our time is running out, and I want to kind of segue. You said you're a busy woman, and so now that you have officially announced your candidacy. I personally want to know, how did you go from like this, 3-decade career in financial industry to now making your contribution in politics and in government? How did you build that bridge?
Well, one, I come from a family of service. Military service, as well as I saw my mom and dad, aunts and uncles volunteer for other campaigns, and they taught me that. And so then that's what I just ended up doing, and also being on PTSA boards and all the kind of things. So in 2015, well, in 2014, I was helping two friends run their campaigns, and I was just talking about what has to happen locally, and someone said, you should run for mayor of Powder Springs. I was like, that's funny. But it wouldn't leave me, so I did. And while I didn't win, I did very well.
Yeah.
So then I kind of readjusted, but I also saw that things weren't getting done. So as an entrepreneur, having, grown companies and worked in the community, I saw a need where we can serve District 31 and help to bring jobs there, help to listen to the citizens, and you cannot lead people where you haven't been. And so life has happened to me twice. And so I understand the plight of people recovering from the recession, but what has to happen to move forward, and you need a visible leader that will be up front and a voice for all people and not just one segment.
Awesome.
I think that's amazing, and I think you hit on something that people don't understand is when you're dedicating your time to run for a local office, it's an act of service. You don't get paid well to do that. It's a volunteer service. I mean, it's not volunteer because you get paid, but it's a service to your community. And I have a question for you from a resident's point of view. You have a platform, you're out in the community, you're doing these things. What is the best way in for your campaign for residents to reach out to you and voice what they're feeling about their community and letting you know what's going on in their communities?
Well, they and District 31 covers Paulding, Polk, and Haralson counties here in Georgia. So if you go onto Facebook and do at Allison, which is ALISON, so it's one L, like Al is on, for like FORGA. You'll find my campaign page, and there you can express your concerns. I went to a town hall last night, and there were many elected officials there who were unable to answer questions, or were just trying to blurt out some sort of answer, and I could see the citizens getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And I finally had to stand up and say, listen, there are many common sense solutions for what they're asking you for. But you got to put in the time to go back and research what they're asking for and come back with some choices. And I said, but you also can't do this just once a year. Once a year town hall is not going to work. I said, as an elected or appointed official, you have to make yourself available every quarter to listen to the people and then come back with some choices for them. And, I had to be bold. Don't like it. But you know what? I'm speaking from the citizen side. So it's Allison for FOR Georgia on Facebook. And please inbox us. Tell us, but we'll be holding some town halls now in each county throughout the campaign. Because, I have a lot of great ideas, but it's not about Allison. It's about the people that I will go work for. So
That's awesome.
Looking forward to getting to the Capitol, and this will be historic for the state of Georgia. I'll be the first Latina senator in Georgia history.
Awesome.
And so that's important as well, because y'all talked about DACA and FEMAs, and though I was born in the U.S., many of my friends were not, and it's important to protect them.
Absolutely.
And to be a voice.
Absolutely.
And it can't just be in English. No
Amen
shade.
to that. No, I mean, God gave us many voices and many tongues, and we have to respect it. Absolutely. So, just want to make sure everybody has the contact information. You want to look. I know I see something on the horizon. We're going to make this happen. I personally would like to put something together to host you to educate us, because Justin and I are like soaking this all in. Like, oh my gosh, like we want to get things in order, to get our houses in order, finances, wealth building, all of it. And I'm sure many of you want to do the same. So again, Allison gave you her campaign Facebook page. How else can the people stay connected with you, Allison?
And then you could go to my website, which is mycrd, like mycharlierobertdavid.org, mycrd.org, and you could also go to facebook.com/mycrd, or you can inbox the Activation Network.
Yes.
They will connect us.
I will have her information on my website as well.
Yeah, and then our toll-free number is 877-745-SCORE. So 877-745-SCORE.
Score.
And you won't just get an operator, you will get me, the real deal.
Awesome. You've been great.
Thank you,
Bless
guys.
you. Thank
This
you
was too
so
fast. Next
much.
time,
I know.
It goes by very quickly.
It does. An hour goes by too fast. I had some complaints about that. People are like, "Can you do like part 2?" So we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
But Allison, thank you so
Thank you for
much.
having us.
Absolutely. JK, thank you for our advocacy tips this month.
Yeah, great.
Family, make sure you stay connected with us at melissadwhite.info. You'll have updates, recaps from our featured guests and from Justin for our activating advocacy. And we'll be out in the community. Allison and I will actually be at the She Builds Women's Conference. So if you want to see us in person, face to face, she'll be one of the panelists. I'm doing a workshop on Kingdom Entrepreneurship February 22nd through 24th, right here in Atlanta. Go to my website. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, you can click on the link on my social media, Melissa D. White, and purchase tickets. Come see us in person. Justin also has things going on. Please follow him because his tips on Tuesday are awesome.
Thank you. And Melissa's going to be out in the community as well because she's going to start doing her
Yes.
city council
Our
meetups.
meetups.
And the legislative session will be here in Georgia. Will
Yes.
be in session until March 28th. That's the last day. So
we'll
you
make
have
it
until
happen.
then to come down to the state capitol.
Absolutely.
And bring a bunch of people with you.
All right. So I've been held accountable. Yes. You know what?
See, there we
Now
go.
we have, it's building
Now we got
momentum. It's building momentum. So again, come see us out in the community February 22nd through 24th. We'll also put out dates for city council meetups, and go follow us at melissadwhite.info. Subscribe to the email list so you can get all of our tips and tools that we shared on the show today. Family, you've been great. We want to thank you. We just pray over you right now that you are a lender and not
That's
the
right.
borrower, that you are the head and not the tail, and that this is the year where we're going to clear out the areas that don't serve God, and we're going to be complete and live abundantly according to his word. I love you, family. You've now been activated. Go
Yes.
live, be happy, have a great week.
Got goosebumps
Yes,
from that
I
last
know.
thing, yo.